Good Friday night. Well, Election Day might seem like a long way away, but if you're the kind of person who doesn't like to wait for it, well, today's your lucky day because early voting kicked off in our state today. And while the presidential race dominates coverage, we want to talk about, for a few minutes on this show, a critical ballot question that you're going to see. It's a statewide constitutional amendment, and Kent is here to talk about it. Hi, Kent.
Hi, Jana. Yeah, many Minnesotans know that Minnesota lottery proceeds help fund projects that support our environment and natural resources. But you might not realize that it's thanks to a constitutional amendment passed back in 1988. And if that amendment isn't renewed this year, all bets are off. If you're looking for evidence of Minnesota lottery funds going toward our environment and natural resources, you could ride the trails around Lake Nokomis, visit a bison herd in Dakota County, camp in the Boundary Waters, or just get outside pretty much anywhere.
In the last 36 years, we've provided about $1.1 billion of funding to 1,700 projects all over the state. So literally, we have provided support within every county of the state.
Becca Nash is the director of the Legislative Citizen Commission on Minnesota Resources, a group of elected officials, scientists, nature lovers, and outdoor sports enthusiasts who spend every year reviewing proposals for how to spend 40% of our lottery proceeds.
Whether it's research to protect our waters from invasive species, or whether it's getting kids out on canoes to explore the boundary waters, creating parks and trails, however people experience the outdoors and nature, we're providing funding to support that.
We're standing on a fishing pier. Fishing piers have gotten a lot of support in the last few years, right?
Absolutely. We've been providing funding for the Department of Natural Resources and local communities to create and maintain fishing piers and make fishing and experiencing the outdoors more accessible for everyone.
While the legislature and governor have final say on spending, Becca says the commission's track record of vetting proposals and oversight speaks for itself.
I think in our 36-year history, there's been maybe 100 projects out of 1,700 that have been adjusted in some way by the legislature.
Which is why renewing this constitutional amendment might just be the most popular bipartisan ballot question in state history.
I haven't heard of any opposition for it.
Representative Athena Holland says even though Amendment 1 isn't controversial, voting yes is still critical.
That's the most important thing that I've been trying to tell everybody about, is that because it's a constitutional amendment provision, if you decide to skip it or you feel like maybe you don't understand well enough what it's about, then that counts as a no vote.
That would mean all that money goes inside the state's general fund. And though the legislature could still decide to spend it outside, even a legislator would rather put their trust in the trust fund.
I think when it really comes down to it, everybody agrees that our natural resources are important. And so making sure that there's this continued source of funding for the next 25 years is really essential.
Now, in addition to renewing this commitment, leaders hope this vote helps raise awareness of the fact that this funding is available for all kinds of environmental, outdoor recreation, and research projects. Small nonprofits, schools, local governments, and even the federal government have all had projects approved in recent years, Jana. So it's a really interesting mix of things where that money is going.
And we can't stress that point enough, right? You have to vote in the affirmative for it to count. But it's probably in the environmental fund's best interest to be on the ballot when there's a presidential election, bigger turnout?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, really, they just want to make sure that people understand what it is they're voting for because, again, they just don't want people to skip it. In case you don't know, that's when it goes into the no column.
All right. Thanks so much, Kent.